Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Built in Ohio, a podcast where we're talking with and about the people building the companies and the ideas that are making Ohio a tech hub. And so today we have a fantastic guest who's going to share a bit about his company, what he's building today, his entrepreneurial journey that started with all this and all this, creating this opportunity for him. But Robert, just want to thank you for joining us. Thanks so much for hopping on this Built in Ohio podcast. Thanks for joining us somewhat recently at the Ohio Tech Summit to pitch what y'all are building. But just welcome to the show, and thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, Chris. It's great to be here with you.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to digging in. As it kind of teased and folks would have heard it in the intro, you are not a first-time entrepreneur. You have been at it for other companies, and you've had a lot of success. But you're giving it a go another time, and you're creating something brand new. And so, I guess let's start with there. Like, what was the inspiration of wanting to start Projector when you probably could be doing a million different things, from philanthropy to investing to everything in between? So why do this new one?
It's the perfect question, because I don't have the best answer for that, other than I had a problem that no one else was going to solve, because I had no intention. When I had my exit in December 2015, and a good friend of mine said, "Why'd you sell this great company?" I said, I was done with the fray. I want to do other things. I want to start teaching. I started teaching business entrepreneurship courses, both at Ashland University and John Carroll. I got involved in a bunch of nonprofit boards. I've always been very philanthropic, a great characteristic I got from my mother, but I really ramped it up, and I got myself in great shape, which you can also do when you don't have all that stress of employees, a business, financials, or even a job, and you actually have financial security now for life. And maybe blame it on the pandemic a little bit too. There's actually the solution that Projector provides is a problem I've been trying to solve since really the early 90s, believe it or not. And the idea hit me early in the pandemic, and maybe it was boredom out of the pandemic, Chris, but I said, I'm just going to do it. And now I'm back in the fray, and probably my most difficult challenge I've ever taken on.
Really? Well, walk us through it. So you're sitting in the pandemic, you're experiencing this pain point. Do you remember that, like that moment that happened, or was it something that kind of built up over time and it was just like, I got to do this? So what was that like?
So I don't have a lot of hobbies, hacking at golf. We boat, but we're not good boaters. We basically just live our lives, and we're very average people. But one thing that I'm really good about is family home movies. I take them real seriously. I raised 4 children. They're all now in their 20s. I also inherited my father's collection of old reel-to-reel film and slides, and boy, he had VHS, thumb drives, hard drives. He had everything. And I was always really good at making sure everything's digitized, so it's protected, that everything was well organized. I'm the person in the family, if someone says, "Hey, do you have that video clip of Grandma and Grandpa's 50th wedding anniversary when we all went, down to the flats in 1974?" I'm the one who has that video. "Hey, do you have that picture of Dad's red, white, and blue van that he got in 1976?" I'm the one that has that photo. And what always frustrated me, I've always said, it's never been easy to watch our home movies. Think about that. What's more important? When we had those California wildfires back in January of this year, I watched a lot of news, certainly to watch what was happening, but I knew what was coming in every interview. We survived. We lost everything, but the only thing that we lost that mattered were our photos and videos. They're gone forever. So that's kind of where Projector's at. I believe whether it was a reel-to-reel film projector, you may be too young to remember your parents setting that up, or VHS tapes, DVD, thumb drives, digital files, cloud, social media, it's never been easy to watch home movies. So now it's a year into the pandemic. I'm sitting in front of my TV. Everyone in my family is really good with a remote control. My wife, who has no tech ability whatsoever, is a master at this. You give her this and she could rule the world. Well, I'm thinking we cut the cord from cable in 2016. Almost half of people in North America have now cut the cord from cable and only stream TV. Almost 82% of households in North America, which also includes Canada and Mexico, now stream something on a smart TV. And I thought, why can't we, the same way we watch Netflix, Disney Plus had just come out the week I thought of this, Max and Paramount and all the other apps, Hulu. Why can't my wife take the remote and as easily as she does 3 clicks and puts on, she loves watching Cavs and Guardians and Browns, She loves her Bridgerton. She loves her HGTV. As easily as she clicks on that, why can't she see the birth of our children, see our weddings, see our anniversary, all these incredible vacations we took when we couldn't afford it with the kids, and we have great footage of it. And that's what hit me. I wanted my own video streaming app like Netflix or like Disney Plus for my family. And surely, Chris, somebody smarter than me out in Silicon Valley thought of this a long time ago. I just haven't heard of it. And I would go on Google and I'd go online and I'd find their product and I'd use their product, and boom, my family would be amazed when we turn the TV on that there'd be a new app that has all our stuff, but again, would operate and look like a video streaming app that everyone on the planet, for the most part, knows how to use now. Shockingly, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's people who've tried. There's some products that are really archaic. It looks more like a Windows type interface on your TV, or it looks like Google Photos or Apple Photos or Amazon Photos TV, which is not how we watch TV. It's not, it's clunky. Even YouTube, incredible service, is not good for this function for many reasons. And I just couldn't believe no one had built go to a website, upload videos, design it with categories. Instead of Star Wars, it's special occasions. Instead of Pixar, it's, you know, my son Ryan's name and has all his fun activities as a kid. No one had created it. And I just said, maybe out of boredom, maybe because I'm an entrepreneur, I said, you know, I'm going to go down this path and see if I can figure this out. And Chris, I did that, never developed software in my life. And I'm a tech entrepreneur, as you'll find out from talking about my history. Never had raised money before. Everything I had done was bootstrapped, and never had a direct-to-consumer product, because this is a consumer product the way I want to use it. What I've learned is a lot of industry needs this product too. Education needs it. The private sector in so many ways need it. Government needs these types of services. You talk to any surgeon at Cleveland Clinic who travels the world giving lectures. They wish they could put all their lectures in an app like a Netflix where their clients can just take out the remote and watch them and not try and scramble to deal with them through current streaming solutions that aren't very good for that application. But I was going for a direct-to-consumer product, never did that before. So with 3 challenges of raising money, developing extremely complicated software that has to be on many platforms. Think about streaming. We stream on the web, we stream on our mobile device, we stream on our tablet, and then we stream on so many different smart TV sets, very complicated software. So raising money, going direct to consumer, developing software, brutal challenge. And Chris, for some reason, you know, there's always a boulder on top of a mountain that most people won't push off. Entrepreneurs, we push it off. And once that boulder gets going, we can't stop. I chose, after being retired for almost a good 6 years, to push the boulder. And now I'm in a whole new world.
That's amazing. So Robert, how did you mentioned you've been an entrepreneur, but you know, the consumer, the raising money, the multi-platform software, you know, that was new to you, as you just outlined. Where did you start? How did you start, you know, that process where you're like, I'm going to do this. This is like what I'm going in on. You know, how did you start figuring out how to do each of those things that you hadn't had experience with previously?
Well, that's a great question too. You know, entrepreneurs, I think successful entrepreneurs who certainly fail, and I certainly have had failures, at the end of the day, some of us are just relentless. I think relentless means more than your intellect, because maybe if I really thought it through, maybe I wouldn't have even pushed that rock. But I'm relentless. I want to solve this problem. And I think all great entrepreneurs are relentless. And what you start with never is what you end with. And you have to be able to move and and jive and swerve. But I started presenting this idea before I decided to push the boulder off the mountain. I started going to both development shops and marketing firms and saying, you know, there really is a problem. No one could watch their home movies, and everyone captures home movies. Everyone realizes it's one of the most precious assets. They spend an incredible amount of time and money capturing, preserving them, maybe editing them, whatever it is. We forgot about enjoying them. And I went to these firms, these software firms, and said, what do you think of this idea? And Chris, it was always the same thing. That's a great idea. That'll take you 3 to 5 years to build it out. It'll cost you $10 million to get a proof of concept off the ground. So good luck, we're not interested. Yeah. And since I wasn't interested in starting another company, I just started having these conversations. After the pandemic, after I knew that I really wanted to get into it, I started researching more and more, and I was very fortunate. I found a young man who had just graduated out of an incubator, was in a program at Michigan State University where he was a student, but they had a really impressive incubator entrepreneurship program there. He got really involved in app development, had already developed some pretty impressive applications. And when I shared it with this young man, he was just starting out. He had just moved to Austin, Texas to get a tech job, and then the pandemic hit, and now he's stuck in an apartment with no furniture and no job in Austin, Texas, with no friends and not allowed to go outside. So we partnered, and him and I decided, let's design the UI UX of the application, see how it could look, how it'll function. And we just went down that road, and we forged a great relationship. And even though I'm a Gen Xer and he's a Gen Zer, he's got an old spirit. He understood what I was going for. What I didn't realize is Gen Z and millennials aren't all about watching Netflix on their phone and their computer. They actually use TVs too. And young millennials have young children who definitely watch TVs. And young millennials do a better job of editing and making fun home movies than the Gen Xers do. So there was a whole market for young and old that he helped me learn about as well. And the two of us decided, you know what? We built a really cool platform with the UI UX and how it'll look. And we went out and we hired a firm to build our first prototype. And it just started from there. From that, I've learned a whole new world. Again, like I told you, I've never done a direct-to-consumer product, a consumer product at all. If you're going to do a global marketing campaign, because Projector could be anywhere. It doesn't have to just be in Cleveland, Ohio. People from California, to Iran, they want to watch their home movies too. So I deep dove into this industry, and I realized, like every other industry, they have trade shows, and they bring people together from all walks of life who are into cameras, into keepsakes like galleries of wall photos. They digitize old media. They make photo albums, which, by the way, if you think about Projector, photo albums is a $2 billion a year business where people get a beautiful photo album of a child or a vacation or something. Projector is the photo album for videos, and there's never been a solution for videos so people can enjoy them like they can a photo album. So I started going to these trade shows, and I started talking around, and these are people who've been in this industry for 30, 40 years, whether they own a camera shop in Seattle or whether they digitize old videotapes in Germany. And they looked at me and said, Robert, we have been trying to find a solution for people to watch their home movies since the mid 80s. There's never been a good solution. I said, now there is. And Chris, I told them my idea, and they went nuts. And you're talking 300, 400, 500 people at these trade shows, and I become the most popular person. Everyone's trying to get to me. I show up a year later with a prototype, but not even a working product. And I put a booth in this one show down in Orlando, and I had a line 30, 40 deep for 11 straight hours, 2 straight days, with no one to back me up. It's just me at this point. So I'm not going to the bathroom and I'm not eating. Fortunately, they would bring me food. But that's how much the industry embraced it. And what the industry said is, Robert, 80% of people who want to get a photo album started online and never finished. They all hire someone else to do it. And that's what they're going to do for your product as well. So let us become authorized affiliates. So a new word I learned. I've created alternate channels in my B2B world, but never called them affiliates. Let us be affiliates. Build me a portal where we can create the customer accounts. We already have all their videos. We digitize them. We already have all their iPhone videos because we organize their insane collection of digital mess, and we organize them for them, and we'll build a Projector account. So we went to work, and we spent about 6 months, and we built this really elaborate affiliate program where I have now signed up, Chris, hundreds of companies all over the world. They may be a keepsake company that helps people in San Diego. They with putting the dog on the coffee mug and doing a photo album and organizing photos and getting rid of duplicate videos and photos. They may be a very large digitization company in the Netherlands who deals with hundreds of customers a week, digitizing boxes of videotapes and film. And I built the affiliate program. And in October of last year, so not only 6-7 months ago, we launched our affiliate program where for the first time, we started putting real users onto Projector. And I was hoping to get maybe 50 to 100 subscribers in the fourth quarter last year. I got almost 1,000. And I say 1,000, they came from New Zealand to Dubai. I just got a customer Friday in South Africa, and she sent us an email saying, I have 3 friends who want it now. So it's kind of happening. It's not just North America, which obviously is the bulk of our clients. People are really enjoying this. So it just kind of happened. But I don't want to have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers. I want millions of subscribers. I'm going for a real big thing here. And for me to be able to do that, I have to make it easy for end users not to need an intermediary or affiliate. So AI wasn't even a thought process when I came up with this idea, but AI and video and photo is so good now that we're able to incorporate existing AI technology and make it really easy for, if we market to someone direct to consumer, that they can go on our website, push a button, we find all their videos, we scan them and tell them what's in them, and they press a button and we do all the uploading for them, and we build them their own Netflix filled with all their special memories. We identify who's in them, what the special occasion was, all these advanced search options. So if you typed in there, Dad's red sports car from 1974, it'll find it on what video it is. But we now have several thousand paid subscribers. We also have this cool phenomenon where we develop these really cool sharing features. So Chris Berry in Columbus can create a projector account of all your immediate family stuff, but maybe parents or in-laws want to see this. You could share it with them for free. And on their smart TV, whether they're in Florida or Chicago or wherever, they can watch it for free. And we've created almost 25,000 free subscribers who now we market to and say, okay, you're enjoying Chris's projector. Don't you want to put your own videos up? And that virality is starting to happen too. So from being relentless and finding a way to develop it, finding a way to distribute it, I'm now sitting here, which was an idea with no knowledge how to develop a Roku app or a Amazon Fire Stick app or an Apple TV app or even an iPhone app. I have them all. I've launched it to the industry. You know, I call it the keepsake industry, but it's camera stores, it's printing stores, it's all this stuff. I now have subscribers everywhere, and people are loving this product. But I have so much more to do in development, and obviously a lot more to do in marketing. So that's where we're at now. But I'm amazed where we're at. I think we're still, we're a scrappy startup that is still a great risk. But I think we've got a really exciting story to tell going forward. And this is the kind of tech that comes out of Silicon Valley, not Ohio. And I want to keep it in Ohio.
I love that. Well, so yeah, I'd love to hear a great walkthrough of where you all are at now. And, the woman out of South Africa, she signs up and, but where do you want to take it? I guess the technology side, because it sounds like, you have a lot of ideas there. And so kind of what does it look like Projector in 12, 24, 36 plus months?
So in 12 months, our AI onboarding is so smooth that by running a simple Instagram ad for 20, 30 seconds, someone can go to projectorstream.com and within minutes build their projector account. I mean, that's just going to be beautiful. Being a scrappy entrepreneur, people look at my interfaces, look at the product and say, wow, this looks great. It's as good as Paramount Plus. It's as good as Disney Plus. In my mind, it's not. I want it to be so much better, so much snappier. I've already built it with probably most of the feature it needs, but I could always do more features. So I just want to make it a better, smarter product. What's really cool now, Chris, is, I built this thing in my basement in Chagrin Falls, Ohio. But if you look at the big brands, Ancestry, Shutterfly, the big streaming companies, yes, big tech. I message one of the senior engineers at Google all the time. They all know who we are. And perhaps partnering with those companies, and those invitations have kind of been opened up a little bit, that may help us scale more. Because to scale to millions of subscribers, which is the ultimate answer to the question you asked, is what I want, I can get there a heck of a lot faster partnering with a MyHeritage or partnering with even a Netflix or Disney, which, I'm not that wishful thinking, but the other ones may be more real, that I can scale this thing big. I want every family to enjoy it. 1.71 billion households are tech savvy enough with internet, smart TV, and a camera to have this product. So let's go big.
Yeah.
And it's my last hurrah, perhaps. I don't think I'll ever push the boulder again. So the last company was a regional between Cleveland, Columbus, and Chicago. I've never had a subscriber in Australia before. Let's go big.
Yeah. I love it. Well, so that's kind of a great segue. I was going to ask, you're building now in the B2C space. You built your previous company from, just a couple $100 to a big multi-million-dollar exit. What's the most kind of surprising thing about doing B2C that maybe is different than B2B? And what is kind of the same where you're like, yep, this, it doesn't matter if you're B2B, B2C, something else in between. Like a startup is a startup, a new company is a new company.
So this is, and investors, hopefully you'll appreciate this. Maybe you won't appreciate this, but incredibly naive to the sale to an end user or a consumer. When I started my last company, Fidelity Voice and Data, LinkedIn didn't even exist yet when I started it. So LinkedIn was a yellow legal pad, a pen, and you wrote down all the people you knew and you started cold calling. That was LinkedIn. There was no creating coffee meetings on LinkedIn and having 300 meetings in the next 6 months because you just reached out and started talking to people. As a consumer, I know I spend a lot of money. We buy a lot of things. I've got 4 children. I've got a wife that we spend a lot of money. I didn't realize just how difficult it is to reach the right person and get them to click, get them to sign up, get them to switch from free to paid. It's a brutal science. I'm very proud that I've cracked the code a little bit, not fully yet, but I think I'm really close. And now I have some fellow co-founders who've done it before at other companies who saw Projector, love what Projector's doing, and they're helping us to crack that code as well. But I was naive to it. People, excuse me, on the consumer side love free.
Mm-hmm.
They just love free. They think of YouTube, it's free. It's not free. Nothing's free. And that's what we're having to work with. Now they'll pay $9.95 a month for a Google Cloud drive that is just an offsite drive where they still can't stream like Netflix. You could pay a lot less money than Google Drive, put all your videos with me. They're still protected in the cloud, but you can actually watch them on 50 different TVs and 50 different households around the world. So we're getting there with the consumer, but it is a tough science, and it was a science that I was naive to. I just figured, oh my gosh, there's got to be hundreds of millions of Robert Marxes out there who have the same problem. So once I build it, they will come. Yeah. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's funny. Earlier, I was just doing a bit of an audit and inventory of a bunch of my like online passwords and subscriptions, and I'm just like scrolling through. It's like, haven't used this one in a long time. Haven't used this one in a long time. Haven't used this one in a long time. And then, you get these like text push notifications. It's like, oh, like I forgot that I was paying for this subscription every month, and it's charging me on the, the second of each month. And so I totally get just that beast, and you see it with these big ones. And so how do you think about competing? And maybe competing is not the right word, but that kind of like cracking that code and the subscription base. I mean, you read about the Apple, the Apple subscriptions, the Disney Pluses, the Netflixes. I mean, that's the name of the game, where they're all trying to figure out how to unlock subscribers, continue to grow month over month. Startups are not as well funded as the Disneys and the Apples and the Netflixes of the world. So how do you balance that growth? But then also, that user experience is vital, because even though you're not funded like Apple, like people are judging it against the Apple interface on Roku or whatever that looks like. And so how do you kind of like weigh all that when it really does, I'm sure, sometimes feel like a David versus Goliath, like even though you're like, they're not doing this, but it's still, you're competing against that UX and just attention.
Well, I mean, I think you laid out really well what the challenge is here. The amazing thing is that my partner and our team really did build a pretty great platform. And I don't know if people are seeing us differently than when they work with big tech. So, you think about the people I'm competing with have been around 20, 25 years and do billions of dollars a year in revenue now versus us. That's a big challenge. Yet it's still amazing to me. Apple, Google, X, Facebook, they're constantly having bugs, constantly having updates. Software, both development never ends, and software issues never end, and we're no different than that. The nice thing is I'm not selling, people aren't getting a medical device from me that's keeping people alive. It's not like it's mission critical. If someone uploads a video and it duplicates, instead of one, they get 2 and they delete 1. Okay, they get over it. We realize we have a glitch, we fix it. But it's brutal to think about the development I have to do, compete with who I have to compete with, and then try and scale from scratch where no one knows what name who is Projector or what does Projector do. We created a really cool video that's 50 seconds long that if you watch it, you know exactly what Projector is. No one's watching that video on Instagram for 50 seconds. So it is a big challenge. So going to this affiliate program we did was an amazing way to get us out there, get us into real households. Chris, I get testimonials. They're on our website at projectorstream.com. Maybe it's a family in Minnesota, or maybe it's somebody in Ecuador, and they just say, this is the game changer. We're seeing my parents who we haven't heard their voice since they died 20 years ago. My kids are watching it. Or another person saying, my kids are 8 and 10 years old, and all they want to watch now on the Roku is themselves when they're 2, 3 years old that they couldn't do before. They'd rather watch that than Disney or whatever shows they watch these days. So those testimonials help. So we're starting to move it, but it is a big challenge. And it's why if you think about streaming, the thing that's saving streaming right now is ads. Netflix went to ads, Max went to ads. It's really helping their business. It's helping them with retention. It's helping them with revenues because a lot of people do not want to pay. We could go that route. We've already been, approached by companies that help those companies incorporate ads or did other creative things for them. So there's a lot of different ways. There's always this great line from the movie The Founder. If you ever saw that movie, it's about Ray Kroc that Michael Keaton played. And when he has that moment when he realizes that he's not in the hamburger business, he is in the real estate business. In some ways, we're realizing that too. So maybe we're in the advertising business. Maybe we're in the big data business. So it's kind of cool opportunities that open up. But this is a challenge. This is for somebody who, first of all, wants to bring Silicon Valley tech to Ohio. Well, it's here because it was born here. And I got to tell you, they'll take it tomorrow. They want it. But if we want to keep it here, we're going to have to fight these challenges. And I think the ultimate solution is we're going to partner with someone. If you look at Netflix, so right now we're retaining, and we're not around long, but we're retained about 94% of our subscribers. Netflix on a given year could retain 70 to 80%. You may cancel Bridgerton. You may cancel whatever their top 10 list that you'll never remember again. Are you really canceling yourself, your kids, your family? Probably not. So we think we've got a real retention value for them and maybe a growth value for them.
Yeah, it's an incredibly sticky product because you're right. It's something you not only want to keep, but you want to keep adding to because it's just part of it. It's funny. I was thinking of, this like with we all have the iPhones and Androids and so much content going on them. It's like, the old recipe books on steroids where passed down generation to generation and making sure that you have that binder full of grandma's or grandpa's recipes and everything. But, now it's like on family group chats, how many photos and images and videos are you getting on a day-to-day? I mean, it's insane, but and it's all great, right? But it's just kind of in a thread.
It's a thread and it's gone. And that's a big part is that not only has it never been easy to watch, but if in today's day, they're one link and gone. But I'll tell you something that's really wild. And I don't think this is just a couple people telling me now. I hear this all the time. People do not trust big tech with their data, primarily Apple and Google. They don't trust them with it. Here it is, Robert Marks out of Chagrin Falls, Ohio, when people will upload 300 gigabytes of their most precious memories of their family, and they don't think twice about it, but they don't want to give it to Google or Apple. I think, and I don't know why. I'm someone who never reads those long agreements. I just check the box, right? Some people read those, don't read those. And they love the fact that we're storage you could stream. We're not social media. There's no liking. There's no commenting. It's just about enjoying, and they love it. And they don't share it with 500 or 1,000 friends on Facebook. They share it with 3 or 4 family members because no one else cares. Yeah. And I think we're striking a chord. It's almost like with film. 35 millimeter films making a huge, huge comeback. In fact, camera stores all over the world are now buying film processors again because it's becoming a big business, particularly with the young people. I think projectors almost in that light. They don't want the nonsense. They just want to enjoy. And projectors are a cool tool. Anyone can have their own Netflix in 3 minutes for pennies a month with Projector, and they're really digging that.
Very cool. Well, Robert, loving the story, the enthusiasm. As we kind of start to wrap up our time on this session, we love to ask our guests like a series of questions that are kind of fun, fast. You can go as deep or short as into them as you want. So the first one is, what's a challenge that you're working to solve? So something, kind of tactical or maybe big picture. So not just like the thesis of Projector, but something either day to day or something you've been thinking about, over the past few months. But what's a challenge that you're currently working to solve or tackle?
Well, again, this is going to be very self-serving, but it's going to come down to capital because, I'm very fortunate that I've had a nice exit and I was able to see the business. I had a lot of friends and family who believe in me from past success or from knowing me, who also helped me. But to take it to the next level and keep this business in Ohio, we're going to have to raise more money. And, I've always believed it was easier to make money than to raise money. But this is the kind of business that, that could take a long time. So keeping this business in Ohio is going to be about raising money. The technology, you could always find a way. The AI, I'm not even creating the AI. Other people have created it. I'm just incorporating it into my thing. That isn't as challenging. Finding good talent. If there's one thing great about Ohio, we've got talent. The issue is raising capital. And that's my challenge. That's what I go to bed about thinking about. And I wake up every morning is how am I going to raise money for this business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A big question and challenge for entrepreneurs across the state. So second one is, what's a favorite read, listen, or watch? So this is probably a good one for you, but we'll stay away from the family videos. So a favorite book, podcast, or show, and it can be something kind of work related or something kind of fun to, check off online at the end of the day.
Well, I'll be honest, when it comes to books, I'm an audible.com person. So I listen to books. I do a lot of different podcasts. There's a great podcast called Call Me Back by Dan Senor. Dan, he wrote the Startup Nation book, which was absolutely amazing book for any business person to read. And now he's got a great podcast where you really learn more about things you're not going to get from other news sources. But for me, the best thing is I love TV shows that only have one season, maybe 6, 7, 8 episodes. You get in, you get out. There's a great one on HBO called Night Of. There's a great one on Amazon Fire called Mad Dogs. Disclaimer, very high charged sexual situation in a little bit, but Disclaimer on Apple TV was with Kate Blanchett and Kevin, what was his name? The guy from Dave. He's so great.
Sure.
Yeah. It was a great show. So anything, if my wife finds something, we just saw something called Sirens. I don't remember, maybe on Netflix. And what drew us to it is only 6 episodes. So we just want to get in and get out. We can't commit to 7 years anymore.
Sure. Yeah. And some of these you're like, okay, I don't know if I can't do 7 seasons. It's a lot. But third one is, someone's coming to visit either Chagrin, Cleveland more broadly. Where are you taking them to eat, or a coffee shop to kind of show off? So maybe it's, your next hire that's coming up again from Austin, Texas. You're trying to, give them a good meal or something. Where are you taking them in your part of the state?
Easy. Number one right now, there's a new speakeasy in Little Italy, which is such a cool little neighborhood in Cleveland. And they call it a speakeasy, but it's really more than that. It's called Cent'anni, which means 100 years in Italian, CENT''ANNI. It's buried down an alley, but you could find it online. And it's got a lot of Cleveland history in it, because a lot of the things they decorated, it came from like the old Oak Room at Tower City or other areas around town. And these guys just did an incredible job. You can't believe that you're not in New York when you're at this place. And they may have, and people are going to be shocked, they may have the best pizza in Cleveland now too. Okay. So Cent'anni is one. And then if you're familiar with an incredible entrepreneur in Cleveland, is a restaurateur named Doug Katz. He's got 2 restaurants, one called Zug and one called Amba. Zug's in Cedar Hill and Amba's in, I think, Hingetown. Look them up. They're just fantastic places. Okay. So that's where we're going first. Yes.
All right. 3 new recommendations. I love it. Final quick one. How are you spending a perfect Saturday? What does that look like for you? Can't include work. So we'll take work off the table, which I know is probably crazy for building a company, but perfect Saturday, no work.
Where I will be, I'll still probably be answering customer support calls and dealing with other things, but I love being on the water. So we've got a small little boat up on a great lake 2 hours from here called Lake Chautauqua near Jamestown, New York. And that's where we spend our weekends. It's now mostly my wife, myself, and our dog. And our dog is happiest on the water, and I'm at peace on the water as well.
Okay. I love it. Yeah. It's especially this time of year. I mean, you can't beat a good lake day or anything like
I
that.
just launched it and I can't wait to go, but it was
Okay.
like 49 degrees and rainy when I did that. So we can enjoy it.
Yeah, we're kind of coming out of all that. But
Yes.
Robert, have love the conversation, love the enthusiasm, the passion for the opportunity that you're tackling. How can people connect with you? Check out Projector. Any kind of final thoughts for everyone?
So anyone could reach me at robert@projectorstream.com. Please find me on LinkedIn and connect. You'll see that I'll probably connect within minutes of you. Would love to talk, love to learn about your business as well. Go to our website, projectorstream.com. The best way to work with Projector is go to projectorstream.com, build your account on your computer, upload just a couple videos. You get a 14-day trial, so it won't cost you anything. And then go to your smart TV. The best TVs are Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, and any of the Google TV products. We do have Samsung, but it's hit or miss because only new Samsungs work, not the old ones. The same with LG. And play with it. If you use promo code SPRING25, which is good through the end of June of 2025. So SPRING, all capitals, no space, 25. You get 50% off for the first year. And it's such an inexpensive item anyway. You're probably going to pay a third of what you're paying Apple for your cloud storage. You can eventually move your videos to us and get rid of Apple and you'll make money. But I also want to say thank you to Chris and Ohio X. I did get to present at the Tech Summit, which was fantastic. If you're not involved with Ohio X or not following them or going to their events, some of the best networking you're ever going to see in Ohio.
Awesome. Well, Robert, thank you for that. Thank you for the kind words. And most importantly, thanks for building. Thanks for doing this in Ohio and helping put us on the map and doing something that's important. So we appreciate it, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to this. We'll have Projectors, the website, Robert's LinkedIn, all of that in the show notes. So it's just a quick scroll and a click, but check them out. Support an Ohio company. But again, this has been another episode of Built in Ohio. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.